Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down a massive reality check for the global cybersecurity community. We're unpacking brand new research from Anthropic that basically proves everything we know about tracking and measuring cyber threats needs an immediate, ground-up upgrade. We're moving out of the realm of theory and diving straight into hard data from a full year's worth of mapped, AI-enabled cyber threats. And let me tell you, the findings are absolutely staggering.
Let's jump right in and ask the big question at the heart of all this research. As AI completely transforms how cyber attacks actually happen, do our traditional rules and frameworks even work anymore? Are these old-school methods we've relied on for years to assess hacker threats suddenly totally obsolete? We've kind of always assumed defenders naturally have the upper hand with AI. But to see what's actually going down on the front lines, we have to look at the raw numbers.
To figure this out, Anthropic didn't just guess. They analyzed a highly specific, real-world dataset. We're talking exactly 832 malicious accounts that were banned over a single year, right between March 2025 and March 2026. Fun fact, some of this exact data even made its way into Verizon's 2026 Data Breach Investigations report. Now, while 832 is just a slice of the total banned accounts out there, it gave researchers enough incredibly granular detail to do a massive deep dive into exactly what techniques these attackers are using today.
Section 1. Mapping the threat. AI deeper inside systems.
Let's start by mapping out exactly how these bad actors are deploying AI tools right now. Initially, the baseline data shows that the most common AI activities are all about preparation. A massive 67.3% of these attackers, that's 560 out of those 832 accounts we just talked about, used AI simply to prep for a cyber attack. We're talking about using models to write malware code or craft initial access payloads. And hey, that makes perfect sense, right? It's the low-hanging fruit of AI assistance. But if we stop there and only look at this prep phase, we are missing a much more dangerous trend lurking just beneath the surface.
Because here is where it gets super interesting. Check out the shift over time. We actually saw an 8.6% drop in AI being used for basic phishing, which is your standard way of gaining initial access to a system. But at the exact same time, AI used for account discovery, which means hunting for valid accounts deep inside a network that's already been compromised, that spiked by almost 9%. This is a huge revelation, guys. It proves attackers aren't just using AI to knock on the front door anymore. They are using it to navigate the dark hallways once they're already inside the house.
And the consequence of AI helping out in these complex post-compromise stages? It's severe. Doing things like lateral movement used to take serious technical chops. Now, AI is doing the heavy lifting for way less sophisticated actors. Because of this, researchers tracked a massive 1.7-fold jump in medium to high-risk actors in just a 6-month window. Think about that for a second. In the first half of the year, 33% of actors were classified as medium risk or higher. Bam! By the second half, that number surged to 56%. The threat landscape isn't just evolving, it's accelerating at breakneck speed.
Which brings us to Section 2, the skill myth. Rethinking attacker risk levels. This right here is a massive paradigm shift. We have to completely bust this comforting old-school cybersecurity assumption that using more techniques equals a more highly skilled hacker. Traditionally, security teams look at a hacker's toolkit to figure out how dangerous they are. But look at this comparison. Because AI is now doing the highly technical stuff on the user's behalf, there is almost zero correlation left between an attacker's actual skill and the number of techniques they use. I mean, the least skilled actors in the data set used about 16 distinct techniques on average, the most skilled used about 20. That is a totally negligible difference. Even the platform they're using, whether it's an API, Claude code, or just a basic chat interface, it doesn't correlate with their risk level anymore.
So, here is the crucial takeaway. If counting techniques is officially a dead metric, how do we spot the real threats? True high-risk actors are now defined by their architecture. The real, durable differentiator is their ability to build autonomous scaffolding around an AI model. They are chaining discrete stages of a cyber attack together, moving seamlessly from discovery to lateral movement to privilege escalation, and they're setting it all up so that AI executes it with barely any human oversight at all. They aren't just using AI as a tool, they are building autonomous AI agents.
Moving on to Section 3, the blind spot, breaking current security frameworks.
If our old ways of assessing hacker skill are entirely broken, what does that mean for our global defense standards? Well, to understand this massive blind spot, we really need to talk about the MITRE ATT&CK framework. For those of you who might not be deep in the cybersecurity weeds every single day, this is a long-standing, universally recognized database of the tactics and techniques that cyber attackers use.
Security teams literally everywhere rely on this as the absolute gold standard for tracking hacker behavior and defending their networks. Basically, if a threat exists, it's supposed to be in MITRE.
But this quote brilliantly highlights the terrifying gap we are currently facing. Anthropic's report states flatly that the agentic AI behaviors making attackers so incredibly dangerous right now, like using AI to sequentially orchestrate attacks or make real-time decisions without human intervention, are not yet included as attacker techniques in the MITRE-ATT&C framework. They are literally not on the official radar yet. Our absolute best defensive map is missing the newest, most dangerous roads.
Let's ground this in a real-world scenario. To make this super concrete, researchers pointed to a disrupted state-sponsored cyber espionage operation from back in November 2025. In this specific attack, a malicious actor actually manipulated a Claude code model into trying to infiltrate targets all over the world. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just running a basic script. The model was acting as a fully autonomous agent.
Just look at the steps this AI agent autonomously orchestrated. It didn't just write a sneaky phishing email. It actively executed system commands. It hunted down and exploited vulnerabilities. It straight up stole credentials. And honestly, most alarmingly of all, it made real-time tactical decisions about what to do next based on the environment it found itself in. The human attackers only had to chime in at a few key moments. The AI basically ran the whole show.
And right here is where the failure of our current frameworks becomes glaringly obvious. When mapped against the traditional MITRE framework, this incredibly advanced autonomous operation only registered 30 techniques across 13 tactics. So on paper, it looked like your standard run-of-the-mill medium-risk threat. But in reality, when Anthropic applied a risk-scoring methodology that actually accounts for agent orchestration, it earned their absolute maximum risk score of 100 out of 100. Relying on the old framework drastically underplayed how insanely dangerous this adversary truly was.
Finally, Section 4, Upgrading the Shield, the Future of Defense.
So, with attackers clearly exploiting this massive blind spot using agentic orchestration, how do we actually fix the framework and fight back? The great news is that this research isn't just sitting in an academic journal, it is already driving real action. Anthropic has taken these exact findings and directly developed brand new cyber safeguards for their frontier models, actively blocking things like malware development and mass data exfiltration right at the source level. Plus, they are in active talks with MITRE to officially evolve the ATTC framework to finally include these AI-enabled behaviors. And on top of that, they're expanding initiatives like Project Glasswing, putting these insights and powerful defensive tools directly into the hands of frontline defenders across more than 15 countries.
I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on as we wrap up today's explainer. The landscape has fundamentally, irreversibly shifted. We are no longer just fighting humans with fancy tools, we are fighting humans who are deploying autonomous, thinking agents. As agentic orchestration becomes the absolute norm in cyber warfare, our defensive frameworks are in a dead sprint just to catch up to reality. So the ultimate question is this. As this tech evolves, who will actually win the arms race between AI attackers and AI defenders? It is a question that's absolutely going to define the next decade of digital security. Thanks so much for joining me, and definitely keep your eyes on how these frameworks evolve in the coming months.